episode regarding the role of the past in our life, we decided to record in my native Białystok, just in front of former palace of the richest manufacturers in Białystok. Reflections on the role of the past in our life can be based on two quite extreme approaches. Let's call them the two schools of thought. The first is that the past does not longer exist. And if it doesn't exist, what matters is what we are experiencing now and where we are going to. There's also the risk that too strong attachment to the past not only hinders the realization of new intentions and plans, but can also poison our feeling of the present surroundings and cast the shadow over what lies ahead. Extremists from the school preach the slogan, "Damn the past, only the present is important." The other school treats the past with more respect. In its extreme form, we can see manifestation of determinism. Some people are convinced that there is no point in running away from the past because we are dependent on it and will never be able to free ourselves from it. It will return to overlay what we are experiencing now and create nowadays and our future. We will record the next part of this episode in the beautiful gardens of the Branicki Palace in Białystok. It smells of the past here, but it also smells of the beautiful vegetation that has restored the former beauty of this place. Attitudes to the past are indisputably strongly linked to age. Young people have a relaxed, if not dismissive, attitude towards past events. The young don't love the past, as their baggage of experiences is still small, and they therefore have nothing to regret or refer to. What is more, many representatives of Generation Z are convinced that a unique generation has been born now that is far wiser than all those who came before them. I don't want to convince you how wrong they are, primarily in terms of the fact that using modern electronic devices, even iPhone, does not make people special. In a less radical version, people may think that the past is a good place for a short visit, but not for a longer stay. These sentimental visits may make some sense to people who have left something of value in the past. They are left with dreams, mementos, memories that are of emotional value in themselves. For this, however, a certain amount of sentimentality is needed, and certainly a greater emotional sensitivity. Rational and modern people will rather conclude that longing for the past is either foolishness, a waste of time, or the pursuit of lost illusions. It is also the case that sometimes it takes courage to cut off the difficult past, to leave its smudges behind, to look forward and to have the strength to create something new. My friend Maria's computer hard drive crashed. She lost all her personal files from the last 7 years. After her first impulse of despair, she thought of trying to recover her lost life documentation. Her next thought, however, was one of discovery. She decided not to retrieve those files and to start a whole new period of her life. 2 weeks earlier, she had courageously ended a toxic relationship with a man who had made her cry for long days and nights. In her case, the laptop crash was a stroke of fate. She is a sensitive yet strong person and has coped perfectly. She has recreated herself for this new thing in her life. However important the past may be, it must not dominate our life today. Whether the memories are beautiful or sad, one cannot spend too much time dwelling on them. However, it is certainly necessary to count the terms with the past and, in some cases, to simply reckon with it. Unhealed wounds can still be very painful and can make it difficult to climb more peaks or even to move around every day. Wounds from the past cannot be healed and forgotten until they are properly treated, until these issues are close to the end. It would also be a great injustice to assume that people important to us in a bygone period cease to be so, purely because of the passing of the years. Perhaps it is a quirk of mine, but it happens to me that years later I meet people previously close to me with whom the relationship still turns out to be cordial, as if we had only seen each other last week. Perhaps it's not a quirk after all. Perhaps it's that true values and relationships cannot be affected by the passing time. This is true of people and works of art, and also of the most important rules and principles. As the years go by, we have a deeper and deeper conviction that the lived memories and events of the past do not perish completely. Nothing from the past passes away. Energy stays in space. Memories, experiences, and moments are preserved in our memory, shallower or deeper. This can admittedly be covered up, concealed, powdered, pretended that they were not there. However, these faces, events, and moments live in our subconscious, and there the life is independent of our will. Experience moments never die. Sometimes they return in dreams, and sometimes they influence the present and the future. This is probably because of our emotions who are involved there, and thus their emotional power allows them to surface even from the distant past. The past, therefore, has a greater or lesser influence on us all. However, it is up to us to let it dictate what we should do here, now, and tomorrow. This part of the episode we are recording in my home university in Białystok. Where then is this revealed truth concerning our division of time into yesterday, today, and tomorrow? Do we live by what was, by what is, or by what will be? At this point, one is tempted to make the analogy to driving a car in which there are many windows and mirrors. Through the windscreen, we can see what is in front of us. Sometimes we can even see our destination. This is fascinating. And in the rear view mirror, we can see what is behind us, but also what is right on the top of us. On the road, maybe it's another car dangerously approaching at a frantic pace. In this situation, a glance back and the proper reaction can save us. And what is it like in real life? In the past, there are our experiences, mistakes, sometimes major or minor achievements and successes. Looking back can make us move forward more efficiently, but it is only meant to be a glance. Excessive staring at the rear view mirror creates the risk of crashing the car. Likewise, we cannot live in the past. It cannot be a place where we get stuck mentally or emotionally. So let us keep the right proportion, the wise harmony in life. Exactly, proportions and harmony, where it's important in our life. If only to appreciate what we have already achieved when dreaming and planning for the future. So let's keep the right proportions, that wise harmony in life. Exactly, proportions and harmony are very important in our lives. If only to appreciate what we have already achieved when dreaming and planning for the future. We used to only be able to dream about it, but now we have it at our fingertips. Finally, proportion is particularly important when combined with a positive attitude to the world. With this approach, we'll look at the past with gratitude, the present with a smile, and the future with hope. Ciao.